So now let's jump in and let's talk about the subject of the topic for tonight. So we're talking about the truth about hiring your kids. And it's true. I know if you've seen social media, you've probably seen social media influencers talking about how you can hire your kids and not pay taxes on money. And what I want to do in the Efficient CEO group is I want to show you how to do it the right way, right? So there is a way for you to do this. So the first thing that I want you to understand is if you are looking to hire your kids in your business, the very first thing is you gotta treat your kids like employees, right? And so let's start acting like a business, right? So being that we're acting like a business, if you were hiring your kid or if you were hiring someone off of LinkedIn or Fiverr or whatever the case may be, you're going to document that, right? And so you want to make sure that you're treating them like an employee. What does that documentation look like? You will have them complete something, right? You're going to get some information from them. If anybody's working for you, you're going to get their name, social security number, address. You have all the information, bank account information, right? The other part of it about treating your kids like employees is make them do timesheets or status reports or something so that you can document that they've actually done some work. If you're paying them by the hour, then they may have a timesheet or a sign-in sheet of when they clocked in, when they clocked out, something like that. And then you also want to make sure that you have a true pay schedule. So are you paying them every other week? You paying them every Friday? Make sure that you have a pay schedule. So I don't know, many of you know that I have a daughter. My daughter is grown now, but when I started my business 21 years ago, my daughter was a very integral part of my business. In fact, at 9 years old, she used to be on the floor sorting out receipts. That's back when I used to take clients that brought me boxes of receipts. And she was sorting out those receipts and entering those things into Excel at the age of 9. By the time she was a teenager, she was using QuickBooks, and she always worked in my business. In fact, my daughter never had a part-time job outside of my business. Like, her part-time job was working at my accounting firm, and she got a paycheck just like all of the other employees. And I treated her like an employee. She got a paycheck. She had to turn in her timesheet. She only got paid for the hours that she worked, and we treated it like a business, right? I treated her just like all the other employees. She had to do everything that they had to do. And so the first thing when you're talking about paying your kids is making sure that you are treating them like employees. The other part of it is to make sure that you are giving your children age appropriate activities, right? And so if you have, some people want to hire their 4-year-old, and maybe you do have an amazing 4-year-old who can help you out in your business, but there are probably some things that the 4-year-old just cannot do. And there are things that maybe the 14-year-old can do. And so make sure that the pay, the responsibilities, and all of those things are age appropriate. Now, the next thing is you probably asking, like, how much can I pay my kids? Again, you want it to be age appropriate. You also want it to be realistic, right? So you're not gonna say, like, when my daughter was 9 and sorting receipts, she didn't make $12,000 sorting receipts. That's just not realistic, right? So you want to make sure that whatever the task is that you have your kids doing, it is in alignment with what you would pay someone else to do it. So it's like, if you hired someone else to do that in your business, what would you be paying them? So when Kenya was a teenager in high school and she worked in my business, I always paid her more than minimum wage, but she had an hourly rate. And she would come to my office after school. I picked her up from school. She came back to the office, and she worked in the office for a couple of hours until we closed and went home. And she got paid for the hours that she actually worked in her business. So now if you're looking to do this to save money on taxes or essentially have money that is tax-free, there is a way that you can do that. the amount that you can pay your kid, the maximum amount that you can pay your kid tax-free, it's a range. It's between $12,000 and $18,000, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So just remember that $12,000 and $18,000. That's the max. That's the range that you can pay your kids tax-free. So why did I say 12 and 18? So 12,000 is the standard deduction. That's the standard deduction for a single person. So essentially what that means is anyone can make $12,000 and not pay taxes on it. The first $12,000 that you make as a single person, you don't pay taxes on it. So let's think about it. If you have a business, you pay your kid $12,000, they file their tax return, the standard deduction is $12,000, their taxable income is zero. So essentially you've deducted the $12,000 as an expense on the business side, but the kid doesn't have to pay taxes on the personal side because of the standard deduction. So then you say, well, why did you say 18,000? Well, you could pay your kid 18,000 if they have an IRA and they can max out their IRA at 6,000. So let's say you pay them $18,000. Again, they're doing age appropriate work. The pay that you're giving them is reasonable, right? You're keeping timesheets and documentation and all of that. You're doing all the things right. You pay them $18,000. They put 6,000 in an IRA, which is, how cool is that for your teenager to have an IRA? They put 6,000 in the IRA, that decreases their income to 12,000, and then the standard deduction is 12. So now we got a taxable income of zero. I hope you're following me. Hope that's not too confusing. But that is how you can pay your kid anywhere from 12 to 18,000. So if you're going to do the 18,000, make sure that they have an IRA so that they can put it in there. Now, you know that all the tax quote unquote loopholes have a gotcha, or there is something that you got to keep in mind, right? So it depends on the structure of your business. And this is the part, please, I hope you're still listening. This is the part that you have to pay attention to, because it depends on the way that your business is set up as to whether or not you can use this loophole, this tax benefit, however you want to see it, in your business. Now, if your business is a sole proprietorship, that means that you are the only owner of your business and you are the parent of that child. As a sole proprietor, you could pay them straight $12,000. You don't have to withhold any taxes. You don't have to pay self-employment taxes, any of that, just straight $12,000, or 18 if they have the IRA, and you're done. Very, very simple. No payroll service, no W-2. You can do right. If your business is a partnership, the only way that this works is if the partners are parents. So let's say, for instance, if you and your husband or you and your wife are business partners and that you employ your child, then this rule falls for you, right? You qualify, essentially. However, if you and I are partners and we are not spouses, then you can't do it, because both partners have to be parents of the child. So that's the little caveat. The other caveat is if your business is a C corporation or an S corporation, and this could be just for tax purposes. So you could be an LLC taxed as a C corp, LLC taxed as an S corp. If your business is taxed as a C corp or an S corporation, you have to run payroll through a payroll service. You need a payroll service because now you have to take out Social Security and Medicare. You got to pay the FICA taxes. And so a lot of times what I see is people are jumping and going straight to an LLC. They get an LLC and then they want to do an S corporation. Now I want to hire my kids, and it's like, ooh, pump your brakes. If you are an S corporation and you hire your kids, hiring your kids looks very different than if you are a sole proprietorship or a partnership. So it depends on the way that your entity is set up as to whether or not the way that you're gonna be able to hire your kids. So listen, what I would love to see for entrepreneurs, especially entrepreneurs who have children who are watching you as entrepreneurs, I would love to see you guys employ your children, teach them about responsibility, teach them about money management, teaching them about saving, but more importantly, setting up that IRA and teaching them to save for retirement early. A lot of our kids are behind the 8 ball. Even my daughter, I was paying her, but I wasn't paying her quite enough to where she could set up an IRA and put money aside, and I wish I had done that. And so giving you guys this information so that you can be in position to be able to do things a little bit differently and position your children to be a little further along than we were when we started our business. So that is all that I have for you tonight. I hope that this information was helpful for you. This has been our 15 Minutes of Fire. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. to share some information with you to help you as entrepreneurs be more efficient, be more profitable, and have sustainable enterprises in your business. Again, I'm Bernadette L. Harris. And if you want to find out more about my company, you can visit our website at the BTB Advisory Firm.com. Thanks again for being here. I will see you guys next week.